Alright, so in today's video, we got the Platinum Trophy on Dying Light the Beast. This is one of the newest games to release in the world of new games because everything is coming out right now, but it's also the newest Dying Light game to release, obviously, and boy do we get treated because not only is it a banger, they brought back Kyle Crane as the main character, and the game is also not priced at $800 and your kidney like most new games are in today's day and age. And this is also a part of an ongoing challenge I'm doing, trying to 100% complete my profile on PlayStation with over 140 games inside of it. And the goal is to do this before the channel hits 1.15 million subscribers. So if you want to speed the challenge up, making it harder, then drop a like and subscribe. Anyways, kicking the game off for real this time, Dying Light the Beast is a very straightforward and honestly pretty easy trophy list. There's only 31 trophies including the Platinum Trophy as of right now. It took me a solid 26 hours of playtime to complete it, and there is not a single missable trophy, no annoying running trophies like in Dying Light 2, and the collectibles are also not missable unlike in that game. Literally the dumbest thing ever. Thank you TechLand for not torturing us today. Like seriously, thank you so much.
I love you, bitch.
But starting off the game, I am going to create some stages for us to follow to make it easier to track if you plan on platinuming the game yourself. There isn't any guides out there quite yet for this game, which is kind of shocking considering it's so simple. But stage 1 is to just beat the story while doing side quests whenever you choose. Just make sure you're at least close to the level required for the respectable stage of the story you were in. And the first mission in the game has you playing as Kyle Crane, obviously. You wake up inside of a facility that's being run by the Baron, and this name drop is very important because the Baron is the game's main villain throughout the entire time. He runs, or is at least trying to run, the nearby city or establishment called Castor Woods, a very old school city and where the game takes place today. But other than that, the Baron is obviously running experiments on people, infected, and the in-between, if you will, which is what Kyle Crane kind of is, if you remember his story from over a decade ago now. But you basically escape with Kyle and someone named Olivia who was on the outside trying to get us out. She also acts as the first quest giver of the game today. But in this first mission though, as you have seen, you kind of just get your bearings. You do a little combat as a tutorial of sorts into how it works. This game's controls are also the same as Dying Light 1, by the way, so nothing new on that front. But what is new is the beast powers that Kyle now has. After taking damage or doing damage with melee weapons, your beast bar raises up, and once the red meter is full, you can unleash the beast, as they say. This activates a short fury spree where you become stronger than the most infected and can just punch and swipe them away into the afterlife. And there's also a trophy much later in the game from getting 666 kills with this power up, and if that sounds like a lot, it was also my last trophy in the game, if that's any hint as to how grindy it truly is. But you end off this first mission, however, by just climbing out of the facility up its broken elevator shaft, and then doing a classic Dying Light chase scene, ending with us escaping and the title screen showing. And the very first trophy of the game pops if you do make it to daylight. The game then has us running around this very scenic area for a moment or two before going to this even cooler building and taking it over as our first safe house of the game. Now obviously in Dying Light game fashion, no doors ever worked, so we had to climb up and then inside of it. Once to make it inside, the objectives of the safe house were fairly straightforward, and these objectives are also the same on pretty much every single other safe house in the game, so I just did them all. I got it up and running, and then the game gave us another cutscene, which showed us Olivia this time, who as I said was the one helping us get out of the Baron's control and a member of the local resistance against him. All I gotta say about her is I would do it. But then you get forced into fighting a Chimera for the first time in the game because it was both threatening our safe establishment, but also because Kyle needs to kill them to get stronger, and that's honestly a pretty big part of the story. Every time Kyle gets the opportunity to kill a marked Chimera boss, after doing so, you inject yourself with their blood and get skill points to use on the beast skill tree. It's a whole thing that sounds more complex than it really is, but the fights against the Chimera bosses are also typically pretty hard and annoying. This first one being no exception. However, after you do win, which is required to continue the game, you get the first trophy from bosses today, and here it is. Anyways, moving on, the game then let us go free to explore the world. However, I unfortunately got a pretty annoying visual bug, which was very common in this game. At any point when you're playing, it can just stop showing you things that it should be. For example, your next quest and what the hell you're supposed to do and go to, or your weapons and items on the bottom left, and it truly is annoying, I'm not gonna lie. But thanks to this game's amazing autosave, you can basically just quit whenever, and then come back and pick up where you left off with the visual bugs cleaned out. I didn't know that at first though, and I also didn't feel like restarting already, so I just kept on playing and ended up finding my way to the main objective by sheer blind man strategies and listening to the world around me. Yes, Its Ilusion does play with audio on. Sometimes, that is. Anyways, it led us to the town hall, which is where a bunch of survivors were at and fending off a major zombie attack. You have to save them all like usual, and we also had a massive boss fight, which was pretty fun. This game really does go down the boss fight route opposed to the other ways they structured its major moments in the past, and I with that. But unfortunately, after that obvious story beat, I got another one, and I had zero clue where I was supposed to go or what I was supposed to interact with. However, like I just said, restarting fixes this silly bug, and then I was able to see what the game wanted from me. You truly do love to see it. But the objective was to just turn on power for the town hall. And boy, oh boy, didn't we all just miss these power cable puzzles. God, I could have gone a few more years without doing these. I'm still recovering from Dying Light 2, not gonna lie. But that was it for the town hall's restoration. And then the mission did finish with another trophy from setting up a safe zone and making new friends, as they say. The next mission had us hunting down the beast, as the game calls it. And this is a frequent term they use for any creature that we don't know a name of but seems threatening to us. Might as well call my ex-girlfriend the beast also while we're at it.
Oh my god!
Anyways, the entire mission had us just chase the beast for most of it. You go around the entire city, up towers, and then finally into a train tunnel. At this point, it was also being chased by volatiles because, yes, it is nighttime. And yes, TechLand brought back scary nighttime vibes in Dying Light the Beast. I legitimately hate nighttime again because of how much you get buffed by zombies. It's ridiculous. But speaking of volatiles, apparently ending the chase with them kills them. And I got a trophy after mine ended called Apex Predator from killing a volatile. I don't know why that works that way, but okay then. In the mission, however, with the beast, it ended up getting too much for us. Your boy bit off too much pie, if you will, and we had to just run away to end it. And considering there was also an army of volatiles chasing us, I am fine with this on second thought. Moving on, I was then heading to my next mission where we were supposed to locate another chimera, and I also got a trophy called Sunday Morning Run from just running 10,000 meters. Nothing at all compared to the Dying Light 2 marathon trophy, but you'll love to see it. Also, for some more lore, the chimera enemy type is just experiments the Baron is conjuring up, and that's why they just get dropped down here and there, both from the Baron himself just testing his own creations, and them also just escaping, because how do you keep one of them in a jail cell? They can barely keep Puff Daddy in jail, for Christ's sake. I also did unlock the dropkick in this game, which is an iconic Dying Light skill because of how damn overpowered it was from the first game. And they did unfortunately nerf it a lot in this one, but in return we got a funny trophy from killing an enemy for the first time with it called Iconic. But next up in the story, I boss fought yet again another chimera being named Mist this time. Not really a hard fight, but more just an annoying one because this enemy type just runs around and jumps around and hides in every way possible from us. It's great times. Anyways, I then just farmed side quests for an hour or so. There was 20 of these, you need to do every single one for a trophy, but 20 side quests is nothing compared to the 98 in Borderlands 4 that I did just last week. Still thinking about how many reasons that game gave me. Crazy times. But on another note, one of my boys named Michael joined up to help me with the story because he just felt like it. Such a nice guy. Give an applause for Michael, ladies and gentlemen. He also joined up at the perfect time because I was in the middle of a main story mission trying to turn on power in this completely destroyed and confusing as hell power plant. Seeing as the brother already did this main story quest, he knew how to do it and we got it turned on in no time at all. There was then a lot of fighting against the Baron's men, but that was basically it for the power plant mission. And I then returned back to side quest farming. Now, I'm not going to go through every side quest because most of them are just random lore drops to add to the story, and there's only really one line of side quests that actually relate to each other, but even then it's just us killing enemies that killed other survivors. Nothing really that impactful in this game ever does come from side quests themselves, but during this farm I did get joined by the legend named Ori XW. No clue how you pronounce that random estranged strain of letters. I don't know what the f I just said. But he and one of his homies did this very funny glitch that is still in the game from the first Dying Light, the OG duplication glitch. And that's why I had so much ammo if you're confused. Jarvis, we broke the game. Anyways, going back to that power plant main quest line I did a while ago, I actually never ended up at just talking to the sheriff, so once I did it, finished it, and I got another trophy pop right here. Moving on though, there wasn't many more trophies that popped for a while. This game's story does contain multiple trophies, but they are very spread out for the most part. I also got joined by another goat named Hax K, and then this face which resembles that of a keyboard. I don't know what joke I'm making there, but look at this.
Innocent say I keep a check. She was a bad man.
So I again just did a few main missions that weren't that big of a deal, a lot of side quest content, and I ultimately hopped off for a second. Getting back online though after jerking it, my boy NLP who has been in videos for years now, legendary gamer by the way, he messaged me on Discord and said he climbed this monument in the game that you need to for a trophy called Crane on a Monument, and upon joining his lobby it spawned me at the top of it with him, and the trophy instantly popped. I don't even want to know how much time and annoyance that just saved. On a real note though, I love the co-op in this game. It somehow functions good for almost every part of the game. It's actually insane. Anyways, I was also doing this main mission that gave a trophy, and I can't even recall what the mission was about since I did so much side stuff in between it, but upon just talking to the sheriff yet again, we got another trophy from the story. So me and the boys went and did some more story quests together, and I'm trying my best not to spoil what all happens because I know the game did just come out, but eventually I did leave the lads for good. We had fun times, but it's time to lock in now. So at this point, going at the story all solo, I truly did just bang it out. I also do hold the fastest time for the platinum on the game right now, which is thanks to a lot of help from the boys, obviously, and then also the internet, a great resource if you use it right. But the story for the most part did just consist of us messing messing up the Baron's plans, teaming up with stronger people across the city and valley who are also fighting for freedom from the Baron. There was also this really big telepathic group of people who began talking to us. Your boy is actually hearing voices now, it's not a joke. But they were a big help in controlling zombies from attacking us in quite a few missions. And finally, the story's last big beat is just us killing chimeras again to get stronger and to be ready to fight the Baron at the end of the game. Before those final story missions, however, I got a trophy called Gunslinger from getting 6 headshots in 20 seconds with a revolver. Actually, a very, very easy trophy. And once I did finally get given a revolver, I just did it on a few random zombies within the game, with the trophy popping right here. I then fought the final chimera in the game, which would get me to max beast level, and it was called the Colossus. Even with my very overpowered weapon setup and having a ton of ammo, the fight was still quite hard and it lasted very long, all things considered. However, no infected is any match for us, and upon killing the thing, just like any other chimera boss, you get injected with its blood and skill points. Using those skill points to fully unlock the beast tree then pops as a trophy called Ultimate Beast from fully unlocking your inner beast, and here it is. I then had a very fun main mission where we have to defend the town hall from numerous attacks by the Baron and his men, trying to destroy us and everything we have worked for. There was also a timer on this mission which made it even more exciting because the possibility of failure was very prevalent. But I wouldn't fail because Its Ilusion is the GOAT. And there was also another chimera fight, but at this point these don't really matter because we are max strength, so the Baron truly is just wasting his valuable experiments on us. Ignore me dying from a single attack. It was a misinput, I swear. You calm the fuck. Anyways, after you do beat the chimera, the mission ends, and yet again another story trophy popped from us saving the town hall from certain peril. We then did this mission luring out the beast, who was one of the Baron's most infamous failed experiments and the arguable strongest creature besides us inside of this game. However, luring him out was actually very easy. You literally just drive around with this gas leaking out fumes that the beast wants to or something. I also did get my 500th zombie kill with a car in the middle of this, which was a big W, meaning no extra grinding was needed for that trophy. But then you finally lure out the beast, and the fight against him is honestly pretty lame. The whole point was us not killing him so our telepathic friend could mind control the beast and put him to sleep so we can bring him back and talk to him about the bear and all that stuff, which meant we obviously couldn't fight normally and you just played with him basically. Long story short though, it did work and we captured the beast, who was just another absolute Chad. And then a trophy popped from yet again the story. So then it was time for the finale of the game's main story, which had us hunting down the Baron. It's actually a very, very long mission with a lot of fighting up to the Baron's boss fight, and I'm not going to go through all this because there's a lot of story moments and it should honestly be experienced on your own since it's pretty fun. But while inside of all this fighting, I did just get a trophy from killing 112 enemies with the flamethrower, and I was actually trying to farm this out for quite a while, so I'm not sure if it counts that great, but it's whatever because the trophy still popped. But moving on to the final boss fight against the Baron, it functions a lot like how you'd expect it to, and the fight is honestly not hard at all. But then again, I do have very, very good items and a lot of stuff at my disposal, so who am I to say if it was hard or easy? But you pretty much just run around and shoot him. There was a ton of side enemies that came after us, which is kind of annoying to be honest, but once you do defeat him or just get his health to 0, he then injects himself with what he claims to be the next level of humanity, and it basically just turns him into a Resident Evil game boss. He also looks kind of small. Bro needs to bulk up on God. The second stage of the fight I also thought was easier than the first one, and that's only because the extra enemies stopped showing up to assist him in the fight against us. But again, all you have to do is drain his health to 0. The ending cutscenes then played out. He gets sent off the platform we were fighting on. His fingers then twitch a little bit to signify that he's still alive, and our boy Kyle is not f***ing around, so he grabs a piece of railing and then drives it straight through his heart to end the Baron's reign of terror for good. However, once getting a call from Olivia on the walkie-talkie and hearing that we won, the goddamn GRE buds in and says that the Baron was one of their people until he obviously went rogue. They also just say more condescending BS and then fly off into the distance. Dying Light 3 when? I mean, come on, this is clearly a setup for that. TechLand, you better get on it, motherfucker. Anyways, here's that final story trophy pop finishing the main story of the game. So now it's time for what I call stage 2, the side quest, activity, and random trophy cleanup. This is the stage of the game where you go back now and do all these side quests, get all the safe zones, turn on all the power stations, and just do any easy trophy you feel like and should do. And the first trophy I got was from just installing my first weapon mod. Since I primarily was using guns, this is why I got this trophy so late, and yes, it is kind of funny having it pop after the story, I know. Anyways, my next 2 trophies then exactly from what I said the stage would consist of, being from activating all the power stations and all the safe zones, both of which I'll mark on the map and then stay marked after you complete them with their little completion sign to not confuse us between not completed ones. Overall, they're for the most part easy to do and not all that confusing. There also isn't like a million of them, so pretty straightforward. And here they are popping as they did fairly close by. Now onto the side quest, I was also doing these along with these safe houses trophies. But there is one side quest in the game that does not get marked unless you go near it, and it's the races side quest. This relates to a man named Travis, and he hosts a racing competition within the valley. And there is, I think, 4 races total. I might be wrong there, I don't totally remember. But they are also needed for another trophy besides just the complete all side quest trophy. And that's from getting gold in all of his races. Naturally, this is somewhat of a challenge, but I consider myself a professional racist, so getting them gold was not a problem for your boy. I also want to give huge thanks to the punishment I endured on Forza's Platinum for my newfound racing skills. And I managed to do every race, almost first try, getting gold well above the time limits, with the trophy from that popping right here. And after going back to Travis to claim my reward, I then finished his side quest off, and that that meant every quest was done, with a trophy from all side quests popping right after. And speaking of finishing things off, that also gave me max level in the game, and enough skill points to get every skill for yet again another trophy popping. And that is basically stage 2 finished with. So stage 3 then began, and this is the collectible stage. There isn't a ton of collectibles in this game, but only 100. Now that may sound like a lot, but if you guys hunt platinums like I imagine you do since you're watching this video, you should be used to getting collectibles by now. And huge shout out to this collectible video I followed. It was a major help in getting these across the game, but overall the collectibles are actually very easy. They also do track within the collectibles tab inside of the game. They get marked when you're near them for the most part, and none of them are missable. So honestly, it's just a matter of getting them. And a few collectible strands also do give trophies from the completion alone, including the Castorwood Beavers, the Fisher family newspapers, The Secrets of St. Valentine's Asylum, and the Hidden Truths with Spark podcast. The only real annoying collectible is the Murals of Castor Woods, just because there's almost 30 of them, which is by far the most single collectible in the game. But after finding all of those, I then finish off my collectibles in its entirety, with the trophy popping from that right here. So we are now unfortunately onto stage 4, the final stage, and the most annoying, long, and grindy one, the Craftsman Trophy stage and Platinum Cleanup. You need to upgrade all the blueprints in the game to maximum for the Craftsman Trophy, and it takes forever to do this. Now when I say you need to upgrade everything, I mean literally every single blueprint that can be upgraded. This includes almost every tool, weapon mod. It's a lot. But a huge shout out to this list I found on the interwebs from some random person out there, and the numerous videos showcasing locations of weapons that other channels have posted. And before getting that trophy though, I did just repair my weapon 50 times, which I did quickly farm, and here's the trophy. But back to that Craftsman Trophy, however, the other annoying aspect in it besides just finding the blueprints is getting them to max or legendary status. Sometimes it's just epic, but it's usually legendary. And obviously this requires a lot of materials, whether it's scraps, electric parts, or even just all the damn flowers and herbs you can imagine. You also need to find blue, purple, and gold manual pages for the upgrades, which are gotten from the quests in the game, but mostly just from dark zones. Dark zones are a returning thing in this game, and it's just simple stores or apartment buildings that are full of dark and infected enemies. But after getting past all the enemies and lockpicking a door, there is always special loot rooms that have good loot, including these pages in them. And you can also farm these because they do replenish as you play. It just takes a few minutes. Not exactly positive on how many, but just wait it out and you'll be fine. Now after I had all the blueprints gotten and I was just down to farming pages, I also did begin to farm out these 666 kills with the Beast Powers trophy because I hadn't really gotten any due to me primarily using guns in this game. And this trophy's name, by the way, is crazy. $10 to anyone who can pronounce that first go. But to farm this trophy out, my method was to just fight infected in the city and around it to obviously raise the meter, then just use it and get kills. There's not really a good way to farm this, I don't think. It's just a bit of a grind, but I ultimately did get enough pages to upgrade everything after numerous hours of grinding, soul searching the whole 10 mile. And here's that Craftsman Trophy upon upgrading every blueprint finally. But we weren't finished because I then spent almost 2 more hours grinding out kills using Beast Powers for my final trophy. And again, this is because I did not use the Beast Powers at all for the most part in my normal playthrough. My fault, yes, I know, but hey, it made the game go by much faster and I had fun, so f***ing sue me. But yeah, the method, as I did already say, is just kill enemies, and that's about it. After mindlessly farming these out for a few hours, I reached 666 apparently, and the trophy popped with the Platinum Trophy on Dying Light the Beast along with it. So that was the Dying Light the Beast Platinum Trophy experience. Overall, I think the game is pretty close to perfect. I legit have not played a game that runs, plays, and functions so flawlessly. Yes, there was the occasional visual bug with the quest not showing, but that's pretty much it, and also doesn't void anything. It's purely just visual. Also, the co-op in this game runs so good, and comparing it to Borderlands 4 co-op, it's almost hilarious the differences. This game feels a lot like Dying Light 1, but also kind of feels like a mixture between Far Cry and the Resident Evil games with the cutscenes and boss fights, and I like that a lot. Despite it being a bit of an in-between game setting up Dying Light 3, I think TechLand really did hit a gem with this one. So yeah, that's all for today. I really do like this game. Thank you all for watching once more.